Every time you push a button, you open up an air canal where air can flow. But, oops, in the middle of the air canal, there's a reed that's attached to only one side and not the other. So air pushes the reed up to a maximum point of tension. Then the reed starts coming back, and then air pushes it back. And this back and forth vibration is what produces these waves in the air, which we call sound, right? So very simple. But very clever. I haven't heard of any of these that needed to be rebooted or updated to, operating system 2 or something like that. No. And after he passed away, his family published a book called Scales and Chords, the major and minor tonalities for bandoneon. That was the first time the name bandoneon came up. Probably he really loved onions. We don't know. Nobody knows who he was. Some people say it was an English sailor. They say this instrument was used a lot on board ships because it was easier to carry. By the way, working at ships must be really rough. Can you imagine? And probably this guy just wanted to buy another bottle of whiskey or something and just gave the bandoneon in exchange. And people fell in love, especially Italians. It reminded them of their fisarmonicas. So they adopted this instrument, and they started actually buying more instruments from these small factories in Germany, right? They would go to their website and say, okay, I want a black one with fast delivery. But believe it or not, they order lots and lots. 80% of the production of these small factories in Germany went to this area of the world. And besides, tangueros prefer, there's a different sound when you open. Actually, the reeds are the ones you don't see. They're inside of wooden boxes, and so the sound is mellower. It's different than when you close. So most tangueros prefer opening, so they try opening. And sometimes for an effect of a harsher sound or more metallic, you do something closing as well. Oh, these are some Jewish knishes I baked the other day. I'm sorry, this picture shouldn't be here. And he used to record these very difficult solos on tapes, just at home for fun. And then these tapes would circulate around the bandoneon players. And I happened to hear one of these, and it's amazing. I mean, he starts playing so fast that you can't believe it. It's so difficult. And then at some point, he triples the speed. And it's like, wow. I don't know. It was like a machine. And I think he sent one of his tapes to Astor Piazzolla while Piazzolla was living in Europe. And then Piazzolla replied, hey, Roberto, thank you very much. I mean, it's amazing how you play, but please don't send me these tapes anymore because I want to quit playing bandoneon. So that's called the marcato. This is La Shumba, for those who know the song. I said, no, I want the original German ones. They feel different. And so he found bits and pieces from all the other old instruments he had and did this amazing job. And this is how it ended up looking. In fact, I have it right here. Why don't we try it? Thank God. I guess it was worth it. Thank you very much. So people started doing these marcatos, discovering sounds that could come out of the bandoneon. And they thought, hey, that's interesting. What about a syncopa? And then they could do, maybe why don't we try arrastre? So, and they started playing differently with more attacks, like this guy, Pedro Lawrence. And it started sounding different than that organ type of sound that they had in mind, right? And of course, then Paraguay did something very wrong, which was to have a great, successful economy and country, and it had to be destroyed, you know. I'm sorry. And so we as Argentinians sent our happy friends from Africa that we had around, and the African population, most of it disappeared from Buenos Aires, unfortunately, now being serious. And the music, of course, changed a lot. The African patterns and the percussions disappeared from tango.